I love how many different channels there are, different subreddits there are on Reddit for various Am I the A-hole posting. This one is r/AITAH. And then this other one is r/Am I the asshole? Like all one word. And then there's, the popular one is probably AITA. Anyway, today we are going to talk about one of these posts because it was funny when I saw it on Facebook earlier. So here's this one. Am I the a-hole for explaining to my husband he's the reason we keep having daughters? This is a man who does not have a basic understanding of biology. How did your public school fail you that much? I don't know. Anyway, I, 30, female, have 2 daughters and am currently pregnant with my 3rd girl. We just found out this morning. On the drive to my husband's mother's house, he explained how he was a bit disappointed about having a girl. But then he said, I should have expected this because you have 3 sisters. Sir? I explained that me having 3 sisters have nothing to do with the gender of our child. He said, it's genetics and that I'm the reason for our daughters. I told him that's not how biology works. He said it is. I feel like I would have taken the opportunity to explain that, like how chromosomes work. Eggs pretty much exclusively have an X chromosome, and sperm can have either an X or a Y chromosome, which tends to correlate with what sex the baby is. Apparently she did not explain this in detail to him. I'm not sure that he would have listened to her in the first place because he's already ignoring her. Get this man a Punnett Square stat, truly. He then went on to explain that his mom only has brothers, and his 2 oldest brothers both have 2 sons because his mom's side. I told him that doesn't make any sense because it would be the same for him then. He said no, because both of their wives have more brothers than sisters. Like he's still like hammering on this, it's the mom's part. He was getting frustrated, but I was just laughing at him. I explained that him and his oldest 2 brothers have different dads, but that out of his dad's 8 kids, 3 are boys and 5 are girls. The men determine the gender, or the sex, let's say. He said that's not true because the kids his dad had with his mom are all boys. So he's saying like, oh yeah, it's my mom. My mom is the one who is the reason why we have the boys. He dropped it and said he'll ask his mom who has a degree in biology. Men, listen to me. Stop discounting your wife's opinions just because she's a woman. Like, he's like, I'll ask my mom who has a degree in biology, Like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about in this instance. You don't know what the heck is going on. Yeah, he does not understand that his contribution to the situation is the one that can either be X or Y. Does not understand that. So they're on their way. They're having this discussion on the way to the in-laws' house, and they get there. So we get to his parents' house for brunch, and he asks his mom if I'm the reason we kept having girls. She told him bluntly that the men determines the gender, and it's actually not, it's not just a 50-50 chance. Like, a man could, have a family who is like, we all have boys. Like, we all consistently have boys, or we all consistently have girls. So his mom, like, how did he not know this anyway? Because the mom clearly is very aware of how this works. How did you have an entire adult son who has a 3rd child on the way, but does not know? Anyway, whatever. She then went on to explain that the more of one gender you have, the higher the chances that your next child is also going to be that gender. So he asked, is it likely that he'll have a boy? She told him that if he keeps trying, it might happen, statistically. He just walked to the car and said he's going for a drive. I then received a text from him saying that I didn't have to embarrass him like that. I was so confused. Am I the a-hole? The conversation between him and his wife happened in the car. So yeah, a huge not the a-hole for this woman. Obviously, like, listen, they don't need to have a baby boy because she already has one. Like, how are you going to be ignorant, ask your mom a question, and then she corrects you and educates you, and then you go, I just need to leave. Like, you embarrassed yourself by needing to leave. Like, it was, ignorance is whatever. Ignorance is fine. I get it. It's whatever. The fact that you got so upset that you were like, I'm gonna leave. He drove his wife to his parents' house and then left her there to go for a drive because he could not handle being corrected about something. And then he told his wife that she embarrassed him when he was the one that was ignorant and like kept insisting, even though like his wife corrected him, his mom corrected him. The mom didn't laugh at him. Like the mom didn't make it into a huge big deal. So yeah, it's crazy. Super crazy. Yeah, I think most people, when they get corrected on a fact, they just kind of go like, huh, that's wacky. I didn't know that. That's weird. NTA, you might give that man access to the internet so he can do some research. Jeez. Genetics are always a game of chance. For example, a biologist can give birth to an idiot. Oh no. Yeah, this person says he's such an idiot that he couldn't pull his phone out to Google it himself. Couldn't just Google it yourself. You got it. I'm gonna ask my mom. She's a biologist. This person says your husband is the a-hole for blaming you for the gender of your kids regardless of biological facts. True, because that's the other thing. He's like, I'm tired of having girls. This is your fault. And then he finds out that it's his own balls that are the problem. Or, you know, not really objectively a problem, but like, you know how dads can be sometimes where they're like, I don't want to be around all these girls, all these women. Oh, I'm outnumbered by all these women. Or, you know, they undervalue, like when they find out that their kid's going to be a girl and they get like disappointed and upset. Why are you so tied up in the genitals of your baby? Any of their 3 kids who were born female could still end up being a boy. He's also an a-hole for being upset at getting a 3rd girl. If you don't want a girl, then don't have a kid. Truly, if you can't accept the possibility, especially if your first 2 kids are girls, if you're like, oh yeah, but it's like, do you just think that the universe owes you a boy? I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Weird to blame her as though anyone can do it on purpose or something. Yeah, I mean, the implication is that there's something wrong with her reproductively, I guess. This guy becomes radically pro-trans because he was incapable of shooting a Y chromosome. True. This person says, please don't keep having kids just because he wants a boy. Only have more kids if you actually want to have another daughter, because chances are that's what you'll get. Exactly. My mom wanted a boy. She had 5 girls before she finally got the kid she actually wanted. And although she never said she didn't want us, she did make it very clear he was her favorite. Whatever her prince wanted, he got. Nothing was too good for him. I was lucky if I actually got dinner. I'm not saying he wouldn't love your girls if you had a boy, but don't have more kids just because he wants a boy. Yeah, like if you keep trying and having more girls, like he's just gonna hate you more. And if you have one boy out of all this gaggle of kids, then he's gonna dote on that child and ignore the daughters. It's like, it's such a deeply misogynistic thing to be like, I'm so disappointed to have a girl child. These kind of parents do, like this kind of dad especially, they do kind of mistreat their kids. They do kind of go, oh, well, you're not the kid that I wanted. Oh, I'm disappointed in this kid. Oh, another girl. I was going to say, I hope the current pregnancy ends up with a male baby who's a trans girl. That's the other thing too. You're putting all these like expectations on your kid. If you're like, oh my God, I just want a boy. I just want a boy. I just want a boy. Like, what if your kid is trans? Like if you have a boy kid and then they decide to transition to be a trans woman, that kid is going to feel so much pressure to live up to your standards. Whether they're trans or not, they're going to feel all this pressure. And like favoritism can harm relationships between siblings. See if there's any other comments that are good. Not the a-hole, but unfortunately you reproduced with a moron. NTA, he went looking for a fight and blamed you for something completely out of your control, and now he's upset he got put in his place. Maybe he should go back to school instead of being mad his kids are not his preferred gender. Shake my head. Yeah, those TikToks are really uncomfortable. Seeing those TikToks during, like, there's a gender reveal party and the dad gets visibly upset when the reveal is pink. I think those videos are shared because it's like, oh, isn't this so funny? Ah ha ha. Look at his reaction. But it's a portend of doom to me. It comes across like, you know, he's gonna resent and treat his daughter badly. It makes me wonder how these men treat their wives. I mean, obviously in this situation, this man does not respect his wife, for sure. Like, why are you in a relationship with someone you don't respect? Why is this woman in a relationship with someone who doesn't respect her? Men not understanding the difference between I felt embarrassed and you embarrassed me. I mean, he couldn't tell his mom that she embarrassed him. He respects his mom on some level, but not his wife. Hey, you should like, comment, and subscribe. And you can hit up the Patreon or maybe buy one of these hoodies that I'm wearing because it's good merch. Do it. Do it for the cat. Do it. Do it. Okay, there's one more Am I the A-hole? And then we might wrap up after that because my jaw hurts. I haven't actually read this one. Maybe I should read it before This one was just like, it's popping off. It's hot on the website. I'm gonna drink some water while I read. Okay. This one reads, am I the a-hole for not letting my sister and her kids live in my house? I, 25F, am an electrician. Good respectable trade. You make good money doing that. I started my apprenticeship at 17 and was hired immediately by my sponsor after I received my license. The reason I chose a trade was that I grew up in a trailer with my mom and sister, and I have wanted to own a house ever since I can remember. And being in the trades gave me access to a stable job and access to more money sooner. My partner, 29F, Taya, is a plumber. Hell yeah, dude. The double tradesman thing, oof. This could go either way based on that title. I know, I love these ones that are like, you start it and you're like, I'm not sure which way this is gonna go. Or I love the ones where you start it and you're like, oh, this is obviously one way, and then it doesn't end up going that way. Pretty funny. Anyway, we've scrounged and saved, and in the end, we bought land and built a tiny house in the uptown area of our city. It's got 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. One of the bedrooms is our reptile room, since I keep snakes and Taya keeps bearded dragons. We are child-free and happy in our home. Yeah, I feel like a 2-bedroom house with 2 people in it and a bunch of reptiles, like, yeah, you're pretty much at capacity. Yeah, this is lesbian vibes for sure. My sister, Lucy, pseudonym, 34, female, is a waitress and has 3 kids. All 3 are male, ages 4, 3, and 2. Goodness, she popped them out right one after the other. Her husband just left her for a woman my age, so a woman who's like 25, and she's left without his income to raise all 3 kids on her own. Her husband bought out her half of the house during the divorce, and that left her and the kids living with my mom in the trailer. Yeah, that's tough. I can admit I didn't grow up in the safest of areas and was carrying a knife when I was a teenager because of the danger. Because of the safety issue, Lucy came to my partner and I and begged us to let her and her sons move in. She said we would have to get rid of our reptiles or keep them in our bedroom. Her sons could have the other bedroom, and she would sleep in our kitchen on an air mattress. I'm sorry. Do you seriously think that you're going to sleep in the kitchen on an air mattress? You think that I'm going to wake up? Like, listen, as an electrician, sometimes you got to get your ass up early in the morning. So what? Am I going to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and have to like be quiet and tiptoe around your ass while I'm making coffee? Like, no. Are you for? And also, sleeping on an air mattress, listen, I've done it. It only lasts about a week before you start to really seriously have back pain and be upset. It's not a good thing. Also, the sister said nothing about paying us rent or helping around the house. She comes out and says, yeah, you're going to have to get rid of your reptiles or keep them in your bedroom, and then my sons can sleep in the other bedroom and I will sleep in the kitchen. Absolutely no comment about paying rent or helping. I told her no, because 2 toddlers and a little kid who's about to start kindergarten aren't suitable to be in our home, and we don't want too many people in our house. Yeah, in a 2-bedroom, let's go from having 2 people to having 6 people, 3 of whom are children. Yeah, that's the pet's home. You can't just kick them out of their space. Jeez. She said that we live in a better part of town with better schools and that she needed the help. I told her we didn't have the room and that I was sorry, but that I could hook her up with some journeymen I know and she could get started on an apprenticeship that pays better than her current job if she needed extra money. Listen, take that offer. If someone is like, I could hook you up with a trade job, and if you are in any capacity physically capable of doing it, that's the move. She then called my job and Taya's job, quote, dirty blue collar trash, and left our home. She posted about how we wouldn't let her stay online. And now my relatives are messaging me about how could I let a single mother and 3 kids be homeless, and they're your blood and you owe your sister better than that. I feel like a complete a-hole, even though Taya told me I have every right not to want them in our house. Am I the a-hole? Yo, that is such a clear, like this, the older sister is so entitled. You know, you popped out 3 kids with a man who did not have the commitment to stay in a relationship with you and help you raise your kids. I'm sure it's stressful to have 3 kids. But like, here's the thing about people like this. They're also going to start expecting you to do free childcare. Like, not only did she not offer to pay rent or offer to help around the house or on the land, but she's going to demand more and more. She's going to get a job, or maybe not. Like, maybe that's the whole thing, is like she doesn't want a job. Maybe she was a stay-at-home mom before and she wants to continue living the same lifestyle. But yeah, like this is a person who's going to continue taking advantage of you. If you give this person an inch, they're going to take a mile. And then once they're living in your house, then you have to formally evict them in order to make them leave. Let me read through some comments and see if there's anything good. True. If your sister's ex bought out her half of the house, what did she do with that money? She should have gotten an apartment. OP says, I have no clue what she did with it. I didn't ask because money talk is a sore spot for both of us. So they already have a difficult relationship regarding money specifically. Yeah, the moment she says dirty blue collar trash, I'm like, bye, bitch. Right. Like, yeah, oh, my dirty blue collar job that bought me land on which I was then able to build a house. This is not cheap. Also, yeah, why don't the other family members take them in if they care so much? Like, okay, if it's like not a big deal to have 3 toddlers living in your house, then why don't you take them? Is it because you know she's entitled and that you're not going to get her out of your house once she starts living there? Ah, thank you so much, Jackie Sins. Oh, that's nice. I'll get around to that in a second. Thank you so much, though. I want to finish talking about the segment stuff, and then we'll do the dono goal. Thank you. Kids are basically animals. Like, they're not going to behave. And if you did move the reptiles into another room, how do you know that those kids are not going to get in there and, like, let one of your snakes out or, like, any number of things? 2-bedroom, 1 bath? Ugh, that's way too small. Okay, I'm reading more. Let's see. This alone is why it's an extra terrible idea, referring to we have money as a sore spot. You guys can't even have a conversation about money, yet she wants you to rearrange your life and home for her? Nope. I think it's a terrible idea for a whole host of reasons. It's not like she came to you with a plan of, hey, I have X dollars to purchase land and build tiny house. It will take 6 months' time. Is there any way we can live with you in the meantime? I will contribute XYZ in rent and utilities, and I will cook for everyone while I'm here. Like, you know, just like the basic conversation that you could have had. Like, after you call my extremely reputable and like lucrative job trash, I mean, you're lucky if I even talk to you anymore after that point. But I understand, like, sometimes we accept disrespect from people who we love and are close to us because, like, the alternative of, like, holding them accountable is just too difficult. Like, especially with a person like this. She's, like, she doesn't seem to get that she's entitled. She doesn't seem to care about the impact that her 3 children would have on OP and their partner. OP and her partner, I guess. Okay, here's one that the OP responded to. NTA, you should be so proud of the great life and the great job you have with Taya and your pets. Seriously, good for you. And I'm not saying that in a condescending way. I mean, I'm cheering you on. It was not an a-hole move of her to ask, but it sure was of her to insult your very respectable careers and ask you to get rid of your lovely pets. Very rude. She could have a respectable trade making a good deal of money, but she threw that in your face and insulted you on top of it. Also, if her husband bought her, why isn't she having a tiny house built? OP says, I did ask her that and told her I would do all of the installation work for free. And Taya offered to do her plumbing for free as well, and she turned us down. Bro, at that point, you literally only need to do the carpentry. Like, that's basically it. And, like, if you, for some reason, need to heat it, like, if you need gas run, you know, for whatever. Like, are you serious? That is a bargain. Are you kidding me? That is, like, huge expense. Like, okay, not only is the labor, like, okay, I would do all of the installation work for free. Okay, maybe there would still be an expectation for OP's sister to buy the copper and everything. But still, like, an electrician, an apprentice electrician makes minimum $15 an hour. Like, and honestly, I think in places that are higher income, they probably start them off higher than that. It depends on whether you're a union or not, because in the union, it's kind of established everywhere to be the same. But yeah, like, for them to offer, like, you have no idea how much money you're saving on labor. Like, that's one of the most expensive parts of any trade. Is like, yeah, the wood costs a certain amount of money, sure. The copper costs a certain amount of money, yes. But overwhelmingly, the most expensive part of trade labor is the labor itself. So they really put a lot out there. They offered a lot, and she snubbed it. She snubbed it. She doesn't think our house is satisfying and told us she wished we got a mortgage and bought a bigger one instead of building. It was an entire argument back when we bought materials and built it, and she and her ex were still married. So she was criticizing the decisions while before her husband even left her. No wonder he left you. You're sitting there like, oh, you should have gotten a bigger house. Like, bitch, you're not living in it. She planned to, maybe she knew that their relationship was going to end, and she's like, well, you should get a bigger house because I plan to try to move in. Holy cow. The OP here is way more generous than I would have been with someone who has apparently historically, like, if you were criticizing my decisions about building my own house and you're like, well, it should be bigger. I don't like how small it is. Like, okay, I'm not doing you any favors. Like, I don't want to talk to you anymore after that point. What a generous person. Yeah, she talked smack about your house. And now she wants to take it over and remove your pets. Exactly. She wanted you to have a bigger house because she was planning on mooching this whole time. Yeah, this person says, yeah, every single person who complained to you about you leaving a woman with 3 kids homeless, like, I'll let her know that your place is available. She's 34. She needs to figure things out. Yeah, she's got to be getting child support. What is she doing with all this money? Does she have a job? Yeah, OP. Okay, OP said the sister does have a job. Yeah, this person agrees with me. She will never leave. Like, if you get into this situation, you will have to legally, formally evict her to get her out. Agree with this person. If someone called my profession that paid for the lifestyle I'm living now a, quote, dirty blue-collar trash job, they can be homeless for all I care, family or not, NTA. No worries, Kitty Tick. I think we're running toward the end of this show anyway, because, like, yeah, my jaw really hurts on this side. Okay, I think that's all the interesting comments on this one. I don't know if all the posts on Reddit AITA are real. Probably some of them are copy pastas or people writing fiction. I saw one post that was like, my girlfriend writes fake stories on Reddit and then like lies to people in the comments about the situation because it's funny to her. So there are people who do that, who just put a fake post because they enjoy all the comments and the attention. But this one, I think, might have been a real one. It gives you a little bit of an insight, just a tiny bit of an insight into what's going on in people's minds. And like the entitlement that's on display. It's also wild how many Reddit Am I the A-hole posts I see that are like, basically like this, you know, I work a really well-paying job and so does my partner. And this is the issue that we're running into. It might be an issue in their relationship or it might be an issue like with another family member, but it's quite strange to me. I feel like it's not as common as is represented on Reddit. This like, we both have really great jobs and we're doing amazingly. Like, you know, we make collectively $400,000 a year and we're having an argument about our spending money, like deeply unrelatable problems. Yeah, this lady has embraced the black sheep label. Black sheep of the family. Like, oh, well, you don't have kids. That means that I can force my kids on you. Goodness. Okay, so now I'm going to acknowledge Jackie Sin's donation. She says, I hope this reaches the flex goal. Not sure if it's currently 48 or 46. It's a little bit blurry on my end. Well, you did succeed in getting us to the dono goal. Thank you. And now I will debase myself for your viewing pleasure. Now that the chat's back. Okay, so I did my first arms day back at the gym last week. And so this is, like, we probably aren't seeing any growth yet. I did not go back yet this week because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't gonna, like, have any issues with my new tattoo. But I think probably tomorrow I'll go and do another arms day and then I'll start doing legs. But arms are where it's really at. That's what the goal is. The goal is to have giant lats and shoulders and biceps. And I say giant, I'm probably never going to be like hugely giant, but I'm ready to bulk again. I'm ready to start putting on muscle weight. Like, I want to be dense. I want to be like heavy, but not like, yeah, not like big, huge. I just want to be like, there's a lot of density there. And like, you can really see the definition. This is my good arm. It's so weird that like I'm right hand dominant, but my left arm is much more impressive on the flex, in my humble opinion. Yay! Yes, I'm exercising my right to bear arms like a damn American. I'll probably never be able to own a home at this rate. Yeah, it's impossible to tell what's going to happen with the economy moving forward. I mean, listen, so here's the deal. Sometime between now and 2100, the year 2100, approximately 5 billion people are going to die from climate change. So there's probably going to be like some empty houses, and who knows if there's going to be a functioning U.S. government. So yeah, claim one. Thank you so much to all of my patrons, especially Tiago Nascimento, Mersh Rolvog, Michelle Frateroli, Amanda B, Michelle Winter, Wellington Marcus, Danielle McDonald, DZXN, Suzanne Maynard, Spooky Heather Sylvia, Ella V Nobody, Pastel Infinity, Jamie Jam, Nova, Sojo, Elizabeth Bartell, Kevin Young, Athiette, Celeste, Desi Quiche, Liam Hodgson, Mr. Atheist, and Jack.